Good morning. It is Monday, August 22nd, 2022. Well, maybe not morning when you're watching this, but here is a weekly update on the Albuquerque real estate market and what is happening with residential real estate here in Albuquerque. We update this every week. We track every home for sale in the greater Albuquerque area. So this does include all single-family homes in the Albuquerque area. This is single-family detached homes is what we're looking at. The thing I like about this report, it tells us where we are in real time, as well as kind of helps us predict the future. So much of the market data that we get related to real estate is what happened in the past. So we're looking at active inventory. Right now, median sale price is at about $402,000. That's median list price. Again, active inventory only. And our market action index is at 60. This is down from 63 a month ago. Now, market action index is just a simple way to give an idea of where we are in the market: buyer's market, seller's market, balanced market, and so on. A 30 is considered a balanced market. Right now we're at 60, so it's still a very strong seller's market. That is not across the board in every single part of town, because real estate is local. Like I said last week, it can vary very much so. But if we look at the report or the trend, we had that big move up in 20. Well, in 20, obviously it was such an odd year, and then in 21 we had big moves, very strong sellers market, and then we pulled back through the winter year months, which is normal. We peaked out again earlier this year, very, very strong sellers market, and since then we've been pulling back down to closer to toward a buyer's market. We're still definitely in a seller's market, just not as crazy as it was earlier in the year. A couple other things let's just take a look at on this report, and you can get this report right here. I'll put the link and to where you can look at these also by different parts of town. So let's look at inventory or supply. So number of homes on the market is something, obviously, supply demand, right? That's what we all know. And the number of homes on the market definitely has been increasing over the last few months, or let's say about 2 months. So we hit a low back here in April, May. Very low number of homes on the market historically, for sure. And now we've peaked out here in the last few weeks. End of July was our peak, and it's just kind of been flat. And this is total inventory, so it takes into account the number of homes going on the market as well as the number of homes going off the market. I wanted to show you this to put it in perspective of inventory. These different lines here are 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, and 22 by week in this case. So this is weekly active inventory. And you can see this year, again, we're in this purple line here. We hit a low again back in April, May. It's been increasing, but now we seem to have hit this plateau, and the number of homes on the market has flattened out. There's a lot of people that expected this just to keep skyrocketing, and it just hasn't here in Albuquerque. And the thing that's interesting, just a side note, is that's true around the country. There was a lot of expectation that the number of homes on the market was going to continue to increase, but it hasn't. Interesting thing about that is the number of sales have decreased, as well as the number of homes coming on the market have decreased. So, that supply has still stayed relatively low, even though the number of sales have been decreasing. Last thing here is let's take a look at our pricing. I showed you median price up there earlier, but here is the trend line. The 90-day moving average, we hit a peak back here, again, May or so, and it's pulled back slightly, but we haven't seen it really make any big moves. This is the 7-day moving average. And then if we look at it from a price per square foot standpoint, very similar. We peaked out here back in May, and it's been kind of pulling back a little bit or flat. Hey, since we were looking at list prices and where they are right now here in August of 22, I just wanted to show you this chart that I put together that looks at the seasonality of sale prices in Albuquerque. The red shaded area is changed, so we're at 0 here, changed from 6 months earlier. And you can see we generally have a pullback in the winter months here. So that's 5% less than July of the 2017 in this case. So we have this kind of ebb and flow. So over the last few years, we've just been on this more or less continued increase with really no pullback in the winter like we normally see. So it's going to be very curious this year if we continue to see that trend and go up, or if we do get that pullback through the winter. The main thing I want to point out here is we do normally have some seasonality where homes peak out, usually June, July, sale prices, and then it pulls back through the winter, not substantially, but then every spring it goes up again. So time will tell. It's been a very interesting market over the last few years, so nobody knows for sure. And by the way, if you're looking at this chart wondering what the blue line is, that is month supply of inventory, 6 months being right here. And you can see that home prices started to really take a hit when we hit 6 months supply back in May of 2017. So one more thing to add to the confusion about this real estate market. Reality is we all need a place to live. Rents, unfortunately, in Albuquerque have gone up even more than home prices in Albuquerque. So, you have to make good decisions for what you need. And if we can help you, we're here. We're the Venturi Realty Group, Keller Williams Realty in Albuquerque, New Mexico, 505-448-8888.